Hello, how's everybody doing? I'm just getting set up here. If you've joined us before, you know the drill. These are our weekly live streams. And if you haven't joined us before, welcome. If you're not subscribed, make sure you subscribe. We do these every week. And every week we're doing a bit of sort of live composing or a track breakdown or something along those lines. You know, we're going to mix it up every week, but we're going to be doing something fun and music composing related. And yeah, we hang out, ask questions, have some fun, you know, talk to each other. It's all cool. So this week we're going to be doing, as you guys can probably already see, Doom, Dark Ages. Great new game, great new soundtrack, not Mick Gordon this time. Finishing move, but still very, very cool. Very good, has some of that classic Doom like intensity, shall we say, but also maybe some slightly more cinematic elements too. It's really good. I haven't played it yet, which I probably need to get around to, but yeah, I have listened to the soundtrack quite a lot, and we thought it would be quite a good fun one just to look into today, you know, maybe do something in that style, and particularly more like the game Underscore. So we're going to focus less on the sort of heavy metal elements of it, you know. We need guitars and drums and all kinds of stuff to do that. And maybe that's another video. But today we thought we'd use some of the libraries that we have available and just do more of the kind of the slightly darker, more ambient, kind of grungy, hellish Underscore stuff. We've got some really good libraries for that kind of thing. So we thought, why not? Let's get in and do something with that. So that's what we're going to do today. And as always, if you guys have any questions about what we're doing, any suggestions, anything you want to say, feel free to ask in the chat. I keep on top of the chat as best I can, but some of the other Audio Imperia team are in as well, as you can see in the chat at the moment. And yeah, they'll answer any questions you guys may have, or just generally be on hand to chat and keep things moving. Sometimes I get a bit absorbed in what I'm doing, you know, and I'm trying to keep up with the chat, but it's not always possible. But then the rest of the team are here to help me out, which is always good. So yeah, today we're going to move over to the door in a minute, and we're going to do some good old-fashioned Doom style Underscore. We're probably going to break out some guitars. We're going to break up some sound design. I've been going through the Audio Imperia libraries and finding stuff that I kind of knew was there, but I had just completely forgotten about, and how good this stuff was, and particularly how good it is for things like what we're going to be doing today. It's always a really good surprise when you like just going back. You know, I was checking out all different libraries and trying to find sounds that I thought might work for this. And I was like, God, there's whole libraries full of stuff here that I haven't really dug into as much as I should do. So we're going to use some of those today, and I'll walk you through them all. So yeah, if you guys have any questions, anything you'd like to say, the chat's always there. As I said, subscribe if you're not subscribed already. If you are subscribed, thank you very much. And if you're not part of our Discord, there is a link to our Discord below. And that's somewhere where we can hang out. We do some discussion about all things music. I'm going to be more active on this soon as well. That's something I'm looking forward to. And yeah, we're just generally sort of hanging out there and talking, showing each other what we're up to, doing some self-promo, getting some feedback on our music. It's very good fun, and it's growing day by day. So if you guys want to be a part of that, do join in. That would be cool. Okay, shall we move over to the door and maybe just get started with this? Today is going to be a fun one, I think, because it's pretty sound designy. There's sort of no rules when you're writing like this. You know, sometimes when you're doing stuff with the orchestra, you have to follow some rules and principles. With this, we can just try stuff until it works, and if it doesn't work, it's fine. We'll make it work somehow. So let's move over to our door. Here we are. So you guys have probably seen this before if you've been with us before. This is my Audio Imperia template. Pretty much everything that we have is in here somewhere. I might not be using much in terms of Array today, but I'm thinking I might get Constrictor in here. I love Constrictor. Tons of great sounds in here, and I'm pretty sure we're going to find some of those today. I think we're going to be... Hello! Yes, I'm excited too. It's going to be a good one. It's going to be good fun. Thank you for joining us. I'm just going through our little template here, showing you guys what we've got going on. Got some woodwinds, may or may not use them. Brass, possibly. Could maybe see some places we could get some brass stabs or something. Vocals, well, we've got Chorus FX. I definitely think I might use some of that. We've also got these slow syllables as well, which I think with some reverb and processing, I can imagine these getting some use. So maybe we'll use some of them as well. Maybe some orchestral percussion. Could maybe see some atonal percussion or stuff like that. Maybe some epic percussion. some Cerberus maybe. I was listening to the actual soundtrack, and there may be some Cerberus on the soundtrack. You never know 100% because it's often layered and whatever. But I was listening to some tracks and I was definitely hearing some very Cerberus-like drums, so who knows. We've got some of the flourish percussion here as well, which probably won't feature today. Maybe some hits, some pitch percussion possibly. Synths, I definitely think we're going to be using some synths today, including some synths that I don't normally use. So as I was saying, I was looking through some of our libraries, and Talos is great brass, but I always just think it's a brass library. It has, horns, 12 horns and low brass. No. Has tons of great sound design that I always forget about. And I actually put it into the Audio Imperia template now because I'm like, I need to remember this stuff is there. And it's the same with trailer guitars too. I always remember the guitars, of course, yes, but it's got loads of great sound design elements too. So I've thrown them in here as well. Same with Cerberus. Cerberus has some great atmospheres and hits and things. So I put them in here as well. I keep forgetting. I really need to get better at remembering what's in our own libraries. Then we got some keys and guitars. Then we got some effects, and same there. I've got some stuff from Talos and Cerberus, as well as the usual things from like Jaeger and Artifact. So how are we going to approach this today? Well, as I said, we're probably going to do a kind of underscore-like thing. It'll maybe include some guitars, maybe include some kind of metal elements. We'll see how it goes. But I'm thinking of leaning more in some of the dark, hellish kind of underscore-like sounds that are in this new soundtrack, and then just seeing where it goes. It's just going to be a couple of hours just having some fun, seeing where we get to. There's probably going to be a lot of use of presets today in terms of things that already exist, drones and pads and stuff like that. But what I'm going to try and do is layer them in interesting ways and always try and do something a little bit custom with them. Hey, thank you for joining us. Yeah, great evening, and hope everyone's having a good time, whether it's day, evening, night, afternoon, dawn, wherever you are, whatever you're doing. Thanks for joining us. I think it's going to be fun. So yeah, as I was saying, we're probably going to be using some presets and things, but I'm going to try and use a fair amount of custom stuff, or not custom, but original stuff, like things that we can do in Constrictor, maybe even make some synths, some custom synths alongside the presets. So we're not just layering presets and calling it a day. We're always going to try and do something original with what we're up to. But where are we going to start? So I'm thinking we'll maybe do a kind of ambient hellish intro. We'll maybe go to something a little bit choral with maybe some metal elements in there. Maybe try and get some pulses going or something, because there is quite a lot of that in the soundtrack. We're just going to see how it goes. But I think we're going to start with something kind of ethereal, gritty, atmospheric. So let's just enable some tracks that I think might work. In fact, let's get all these Cerberus and Talos things going. I'm also going to, let's just get some of these. Let's get all of this stuff. Why not? I've got 128 gigs of RAM in this machine now, so I really shouldn't worry about opening up 10 or 12 tracks unless it crashes everything. If it does, I'll be back, but hopefully not. Cool. So yeah, we've got some great stuff in here. These demon kits I was looking at the other day. Well, I say the other day, this morning, but this stuff's great. It's perfect. We could do so much with this. Even just this kind of stuff, and we can split these out. So we'll try and get maybe some of these in towards the end of the track. We've also got this kind of stuff, these drones. So maybe I'm going to start with a drone. Let me just make these easy for you guys to see. So loads of cool stuff like this. That may be a little bit calm for what we're looking for. Let's try some distorted drones. Same thing here with that. Could definitely imagine some of these getting in there. What else have we got? Let's go through a couple more and then we'll just start layering stuff up. Atonal soundscapes from Talos. Yeah, Talos has some great sound design. I've been sleeping on this stuff. Soundtrack in a box. I mean, this is just great. Perfect. All of this stuff is so useful. Right. Let's just not spend the entire afternoon just looking through cool sounds. Let's maybe try and get something going. Let's see if there's anything in the drones. So these are Talos drones. Let's just see if we can start our track with some drones. Let me make that easier for you guys to see. That's cool, but I'm thinking something a little bit darker, the calm before. This could work. This could work. Let's try a few more. Dark towers. Ooh. Yeah, let's shoot from the hip and go with that one. What key? I'm thinking D. Yeah, I think that's great. What I'm going to do, I'm just going to do my usual trick of just exporting this. So I'm just going to grab, pull this out, make a nice long audio track out of this, and then we can see where we're at. So I think that should cover the whole thing. Render in place. Just render this out and see what we've got. There we go. So I can definitely, I think, yeah, let's do another one and make it even longer because we've got a really long track here. This is probably not the most optimal way of working, but it doesn't matter. Sometimes it's fun to just dig in, you know, go sort of slow to go fast with this stuff. You ever heard that phrase, go slow to go fast? That's what I'm doing here. So let's just take this. Maybe just start at bar 1. We can always get the click track going once we sort of know what we're doing here. Open this up a little bit. Oh, I don't want to do that. Delete that version. Photosynthesis should have some good, photosynthesis should also have some good landscape sounds and similar stuff. 100%. Yeah. I've got some good stuff that I found in photosynthesis. In fact, I think I'm going to load it one of these up. Yes, this one. I think we can definitely get this in. I think that's going to be cool with some filtering. So we can do this thing where we do like, I don't know, we get the filter going. Maybe do a high pass here. Oh, no, that's not what I wanted. Low pass here. Open it up. Yeah. We can definitely get some good stuff going with that. But there's loads of other things in there, you're right. So let's see what we have here. I mean, I feel like my job has kind of been done just by opening up this. But no, we're not just going to be lazy and do nothing but use other stuff. So I'm going to maybe extend this out. Let's have a little look. I've got my ruler up here, I think. No, I don't. So that's okay. I go up, maybe get about, what do we want? Yeah, I think 30 seconds is going to be more than enough because we maybe try and make a 2-minute track today because it's going to be a bit more ambient. Hello, Runa. How you doing? Thank you for joining us. I hope I pronounced that right. By the way, guys, I'm always pronouncing things wrong. So if I ever pronounce something wrong, just tell me. Don't be shy. Cool. I'm going to maybe just put a tiny touch of reverb on this, just so it's not completely, I mean, it's hardly dry, but just so it's got a little bit of tail. I don't want too much at all, you know, but let me just show you what I mean. So without reverb, this is what would happen if it just cut out. With reverb, it would just add a tiny bit of kind of, there's just got a little tail. Obviously it's not doing too much, but it's just going to help smooth things out as we go. But we want to find the balance between not washing everything in reverb. Hello, how you doing? Good to see you all. Yeah, thank you for joining us. This is great. We've got a nice bunch of viewers with us, some familiar faces, which is always good. Okay, so we've got this going. Let's just have a listen to this. Nice. So around that swell there, I'm not going to worry about the tempo tracks just yet. It's maybe one of those days where we don't really use them. Let me just see. Hey, Jathan, thank you so much. Yeah, I love them too. They're great fun. And it's always good to do stuff with other composers. You know, we can just hang out and sort of build this stuff together. Cool. So I have this drone. This drone is working. Now, it's such a big, beefy, you know, huge, all-encompassing thing. It's so well designed already that we don't want to add tons of stuff to this just for the sake of it. If I layer up loads of pads and things, it's not going to do too much. But something that we may be missing is some high end. That's definitely somewhere where we could do something with this in the beginning. I love Constrictor, and I love these harmonic clusters in Constrictor. So let's load some of these up. So good. Let's just have a little play with some of these because we got quite a few of these. That could be cool. It's got more movement. See, that's also good as well. Ah, they're all good. This is the hardest thing. That might be a bit busy. Maybe this one, but maybe we're going to distort it a little bit. See, it's that stuff up there that's cool. Just adds lots of nice movement up the top. But I'm already thinking we're going to probably be sound designing quite a lot of this stuff. So it's never sort of just standard orchestral things. Everything's got a bit of grit to it. I'm going to maybe try Quadrafuzz. Now, Quadrafuzz is just a stock plugin inside of Cubase. It's really good though. But we've got to find the right setting and gentle with this stuff because sometimes it can do its best to blow your eardrums out. I've got a limiter on, so we're going to be fine, I think, but I'm going to start with the mix down. See all that weird stuff that's adding? Yeah. It's just adding loads of kind of grit and texture and weirdness. You know what? I'm going to double distort this, which may sound a bit weird, but it's all gentle saturation. It's not like going to town with stuff. Here we go. I think in the context of the mix, that's going to be cool. So let's just sort of get some of this in. Cool. For now, that will do. This is going to be one of those where we're sort of building this like a jigsaw puzzle, really. You know, it's not going to be all bars and beats and sort of neat sections. We're just going to be layering, trying things till we get stuff that works. Kaya Music is saying, I don't know why, but double basses would be nice with this. Let's give it a go. Let's see what we've got. Let's try Constrictor basses. Again, great stuff in here. We've got all these cool sustains and weird sounds. Something I like to do with Constrictor as well sometimes is just pitch it down and see what happens. So, for example, let's try Nausea. That sounds good to me. What do we think? I mean, it's pretty horrible. We could try something. I think that's going to be a bit busy. Where is it? It's not there. No, it's not there either. There. I think that's a bit busy. Skin Crawlers is good. All these quarter note bends. See, that could be cool. Come together. I don't think that one's going to work for this. We've got these attack clusters as well, which are going to crescendo. Then we've got this really cool lull, and then it crescendos up. This could work. If not at this point, maybe later on. Here we go. That's cool. Maybe, let's just try Nausea. Let's just put a Nausea in here for now and see what we think. Does it add anything? Does it come through? Is it something we use later? to my take on the song. Hey, but I appreciate all the ideas and stuff. This is what I love about doing this, is when people can just throw ideas, we'll give them a go. That's what this is all about. You know, it's there's no right or wrong, and sometimes you guys come up with incredible ideas that I wouldn't have thought of, and I love working that way, you know, because it's like, ideas are always the hardest thing, you know, when someone's just like, try this, and we try it. If it doesn't work, that's cool. If it does work, even better. So let's just have a listen to this. I like it. It's like subtle, but it is there and it is doing something. We can maybe just bring it up slightly. What I probably will do, something that we're going to be doing more in this sort of episode, is EQing things to make sure there's space for everything. There's a little bit too much low end in this because we have so much with the drone. So we want this kind of movement, I think, but not too much low end, because that's being taken by the drone. If we just have too much low end, especially if it's moving around, it's just going to sound kind of messy. And sometimes messy is good, but I think we'll try and keep things pretty clean. But I think at this big first surge on the drone, that's when I'm going to bring in these sustains. Let's do it. This is cool. So around here, I think we're going to want this drone to fade into something else. I think we've got two surges and we don't just want to keep doing that. That's too much. So it's around here that we're going to find a way to do something else. We'll figure it out as we go. Maybe we'll keep the basses going. That could work. So we try the basses, just keep that going. Let's have a little listen to this. There'll be a lot of sort of back and forth and listening to how all this stuff layers and stacks up. Thank you for throwing the idea. Yeah, I love ideas. If anybody else has any, let us know. We love them. See, we just want to stop that coming in there. We can maybe bring something in around that point. We're going to need to bring something in, I think. Let's have a little listen to how it goes. It's cool, though. We can definitely do something here with this. Maybe let's try something like a soft Brahms to take us out of that section. So again, we've got all these cool Brahms inside of Talos. Needs more guitars. We do need to get some guitars in there. That's not what I want. Let's do single view. So we need to go in D. We're looking for like a transition element. That could be cool. Right, we just want a transition element to get us out of these drones and into something new in a way that doesn't sound like things are just leaving and we have nothing else. Now we'll want a bit more reverb on that. Again, we want to kind of not bathe it in reverb, but we want this to feel sort of in the piece, you know. So maybe something like a -13. Yeah, cool. So let's just play this in, see if we can find a good point for it. More cowbell. We're definitely going to get some cowbell. And, you know, we should get some metal percussion and stuff, I think. Maybe not. Well, I don't even know if we have a cowbell. Maybe we'll try and get a cowbell. I'll find one in our library or in some library. We'll chuck it in. No matter how obscure, we'll get it in there somehow. Nice. Do you see how that kind of just allows us to go out into something different? I'm not sure what. Maybe we'll also bring those basses out as well at that point. We'll see. Maybe we'll try some new basses. I think we're going to want, I'm already hearing something like this. So if I just absolutely, not drown, but like really get a lot of black hole reverb on these syllables, have a listen to something like this. Yeah. That's just going to be great. At some point, I'm not sure where, we'll find a place for them. Adding more cowbell to the wish list. How have we not sampled that yet? I know, we need to do some more cowbell. What I think we need to do is we need to get Will Ferrell cowbell. You know, here you get like some artists come in and they do their own versions of libraries. We're going to do the Will Ferrell cowbell. I reckon he'll be down for it. I reckon he'll be down for it. We'll get him in and he'll play the samples. A cowbell down one octave with a ton of reverb. That's exactly what I was thinking. That's what I was thinking. Like if we try and find a cowbell and we just do something to it, we're going to make it nasty. It's going to be the Devil's Cowbell. Is that a cool name for a band? The Devil's Cowbell? That's what my band's going to be called if I ever make one. The Devil's Cowbell. Or it sounds like some Rob Zombie horror film from the early 2000s. The Devil's Cowbell. Let's just see what can we do here to kind of keep this going, but not, if that makes sense. No, these were all a bit Alien versus Predator, I think. Let's see what else we've got. Let's just see what we've got going on up here. Maybe it's a bit soon for those kind of things. We got these pads. Maybe not. Let's just see. This is really going to be just a case of... You know, this could work. Let's just record that out and see if we can do sort of carry things on, but with a different feel. And then we're going to add some sort of musical elements in. This is all that beginning part where we're just sort of layering things up, trying to get something going. This is kind of the hard part in a way. So maybe just render this out. Jaeger has some good drones and effects. Yes, that's good, true as well. We should definitely have a look at Jaeger. Let's just see sort of where, if we bring this in slowly, and then just see where we are with that. And maybe let's just have a look at the Jaeger drones. So we've got Nucleus drones, we've got Jaeger pads. Are there Jaeger drones? There are Jaeger drones. Surely there are. Yeah, there definitely are. Where are they though? If we can't find them, let's just turn one of these into Jaeger drones. We added some new sound design in Jaeger at the end of last year, or not the end, but maybe midway through last year. I still haven't really worked my way through all that stuff yet, so maybe we'll find something in there. What have we got going on here? Dark pads, there's some of the new stuff. Aggressive shorts. Throat singing. Ah, I forgot about this throat singing. This stuff's cool. This could work. It's a little June, but I reckon... You know, this might work. Let's have a little listen to how all this is coming together. Yeah, I think this could work. Okay, maybe again we're going to do something. Let's try quadrifuzzing this up. Hello, how you doing? Let's try a different... Yeah, something like this maybe. And what we're going to do is EQ this, take out some of that mid stuff that we're definitely not going to need, sort of lower mids and bass. Maybe get some of this goodness in. Maybe I'm just going to do black hole on this, down to about -10, and then when I let go, we can create almost like, you know, like these blares, but not a huge blare, not like a mega horn style blare, just... Yeah, nice. I think that's going to work. And then let's just decapitate this. Everything's going to be very dirty today. Yes, I can see this working. Okay. And then just that kind of thing, I think. Yeah, some really weird sort of stuff going on. And then we're going to find some bass or something to get under there. Cool. And do you know what? I have an idea. Let's just maybe tune this down an octave. Make it sort of sound less. Yeah. Nice. That's really cool. Yeah, that's what we're looking for. Hello, Nicholas. How you doing? Also sounds like a war horn. I agree. Yeah. That's going to be cool. Okay, let's keep these harmonic clusters going for a bit. This is going to be a lot of like stretching things out, seeing, you know, just seeing how it all comes together, and then we'll refine as we go. So, yeah, I think we take those basses out for that. Let's go back to the beginning, see what we have so far. We're going to need some more transition elements, then we're going to need to start bringing some sort of harmonic elements and stuff in, but it's all good. This is what we have so far. Yep, we're beginning to get there. We're going to bring these down. We want them more down here. Summon Satan. Yeah, I know. I'm afraid. I'm alone in the house. It's gonna get dark. But hey, if we summon some kind of creature from the depths, we've done well. We've done our job. You know, if we can get to that point. I'm kind of hoping we don't, but it's also part of me that's hoping we do, because then I'll know that we, you know, you've got a good track if you've summoned a creature from the underworld. Okay, so yeah, we're going to just be building this up slowly. Let's have a look and see what else we've got. Let's see. There's so many different directions we could take this. We've got these nucleus drones. We've got these distorted drones. We've got these kits, bowed guitar. Let's maybe try something in photosynthesis. Let's see if we can find something to add a bit of resonance and a bit of kind of craziness to what's going on in this section. I'm sure we've got some pretty weird stuff going on in there. Do love photosynthesis. Let's see. Just find one that's got an unholy character to the name. Let's see. Yeah, this one. Let's just see what this is like. It's cool, but probably not enough, I don't know, character to it. We're looking for something that we don't have. Oh. Maybe realms. Let's see what that's like. Hope Paula doesn't get home early after you said that. I know. No, she's away. When I told her we were doing a Doom soundtrack, she left. Maybe not that. Let's just try a couple more waspish. Let's see. Okay, so that's very Doom. These kind of distorted, resonant frequencies. Let's just see if this... Yeah, let's just see. Yeah, this could work. This could work. Let's not be afraid to make everything more awful, but take the mix down. Yeah, let's just try and layer that in there. Let's get that in and just see if we've got something going here that's going to work. We're going to want to bring it in around the end of here. So there. Is it going to work with this first of all? Let's have a listen. Yeah, it's adding something different. See, very different texture. Nice. Okay, this is cool. I think I've got an idea. Male syllables, slow, chorus, love chorus. A lot of this is going to be pitch shifting today. Let's try them an octave or two down and see what we get. Take a second to load up. I mean, here we go. Ready? This is cool. I love the way we're getting like these syllables. Let's just try this. Let's just try... We'll get some whole reverb in to give these a bit of space, make them sound a little bit like they're in this kind of cavern. Yeah, let's just try this. Let's get some of these in and see if they're adding to what we're doing here. Yeah, I think with a bit of work, this is going to kind of do something. So what I'm doing here, if you couldn't see, but what I was doing is I'm using the sustain pedal, and the sustain pedal on my piano will trigger. I can just hold down a note and it will trigger new syllables. So you can see here, every time it goes down, we get a new syllable. So we're getting like this human, otherworldly movement. It's cool. And that's kind of combining with what we've got going on with this throat singing stuff to create this really nice human, but kind of not so human layer. So just these two on their own. I think it's pretty cool. More whole, I think. Push them back a bit. Cool. The in syllables reminds me of sneezing. Yeah, we can take that out. We can, if we don't like it, we can take it out. Maybe it's devil's sneezing. Unholy sneezing. That's what we're going to call this track. The unholy sneezing. I'm going to take a little drink of my witch's brew. Okay, let's have a little listen to what we've got. This is all going to be about finely balancing textures. We want a lot going on, but we don't just want to mush everything up. So we may end up taking some stuff out or replacing some stuff, but we're still just in the process of getting some feel for this, I think. Yeah, this is kind of working, I think, though. What we'll do is just clean this up a tiny bit. So make sure that we're not overlapping too many low elements here. Really cleaning everything up as best we can. Really want to try and get that low end kind of right. Something like that, I think. Nice. Cool, this is starting to come together, I think. Now, what do we want here? Is there something we could do with the cello? We might want like a lower element to keep some interest here, but not too low. Not the basses, I don't think, because we have that kind of covered at the moment. But insects, I think this might be a bit high. I mean, that's cool, but maybe later on. Maybe later on. Again, maybe later on. What about these? So this could work as like a layer just coming in and out. Let's maybe try something like that. Just trying to get some movement and things going. Well, yeah, I think that's adding something. We're going to keep going with this and just see. I kind of want something like, so maybe let's do something with this if we use it. Let's just do something crazy with it. Not that. Not that. Let's just try and find. We're looking for something nasty here, you know. No, this is all a bit 70s funk. No. Maybe not this plugin. Let's try something else maybe, see what we got. Not the ring modulator. Let's just try the quadrifuzz again, see what we think of this. We did something like... No, that's going to be not the right one. You know, something like this could kind of work. Sounds a bit weird, but bear with me. I'm going to show you what I'm thinking here. Maybe. That's a bit too much. Let's try. Yeah, you know, something like this. Might be a bit too, let's go more. Okay, this could kind of work. Sounds a bit weird at the moment, I know, but let's try a couple of these. No, that's too high. No. 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 Maybe something like that, and then we're going to put something like a black hole on here. Yeah, maybe something like this could work. So I'm going to show you where I'm thinking. Yeah, something like that maybe. Just like this kind of like ping in the background that's just going to add a higher end element. Okay, that's cool for now. Let's just leave that as a kind of layer in there as well. I think I can start to see how this is going to come together. And then we're going to just maybe go into a section where we do something like this. I don't know. We're gonna maybe just rough something in. That's really, again, decapitate these. Everything's got to sound a little bit unholy. I'm hearing something like, yeah, something like that. Okay. Cool. Let's just get that in. A lot of this is just sort of layering in. That's a bit quiet, but we can make them louder. That's no problem. Yeah, we're going to want them up on that top modulation. Let's just see what we played in. I'm just going to bring that down. So I'm going to do little ramps in and out of each chord. Just give it a sort of nice quality, and then we'll start tidying everything up. So I reckon we're going to want that sort of disappearing somewhere around here. Again, we'll just tidy all this up as we go. Let's just make sure these go on each beat. Okay, and then we're going to bring this back in, I think. That'll be like our transition. And you sort of see where I'm trying to go with this. We're going to get there. Just wait for this to save. And then we're going to add lots of like some of that cowbell. We're going to find a cowbell and put one in. I promise you. I've got a good idea for it. Let's see where we're at. delay that one slightly, I think. Bring it in around there. So it just fits with these. Maybe an octave higher but quieter. Get all these. That could work. Yeah, I think really get some reverb on those. There, and let's just really fuzz them up as well. Bring down some of those higher elements. Yeah, that's kind of cool. Nice. And then just hearing maybe here some kind of cluster. Maybe we'll try in the violas just to sort of accompany this little phrase here in the vocals. So what have we got? Let's find something that we think is going to work. Have we got a swell? Yeah. Let's just see if that works. I'm going to darken it, just use some decapitator. Just see if this works. Yeah, nice. Cool. Bring that back a little bit. Okay, so yeah, we have that going on still. Okay. Okay, this is starting to come together. I think let's have a listen to what we got so far. Do a little appraisal because it's all about how this sort of joins together. Let's take a listen to what we have. What do we think so far? I definitely want some metallic elements in there. I'm going to get that cowbell. In fact, let's do the cowbell now. I'm going to find a cowbell. Let's add an instrument track. 7. Bring this in. Let me move that over there so I can search for my cowbell. I don't know who it's going to be by. We're bound to have cowbells somewhere. Let's see, what have we got going on here? Cool, these will do. So, cowbells, this is what we're going to do. Ping pong delay. We're going to take that off sync. Yeah, nice. We're going to get some reverb, maybe black hole. Yeah, I think that works. We're going to do one more thing to them. I'm not sure what. Let's just see if we've got some kind of distortion, something else we can use. Let's try just this one. Why not? Let's just try something different. Apologies. Hey, this is pretty cool though, right? I mean, I think that could work. Is it going to be too much? Let's just try. So, Cool. Cowbell. I'm putting it in big capitals. Let's get that there. We won't worry too much about all of that stuff. I think I'm really going to want... finally do maybe like something like a pan. Let's try pan man. Really get these swirling around. See how this sounds. Oh, that's not going to work for some reason. Don't know why there's no activation code there. There should be. Okay, we're not going to do pan man. My eye lock playing up by the looks of it. Okay, what are we going to do? We got anything else we could use? Any kind of panner? Not the multi-panner. Not panagement. Not really. Okay, we're not going to worry about that for now. Maybe what we'll do is just open this up. Use our left to right panner. And maybe just bring this, do this. So it's always moving. That'll give us something to work with there. Cool. So what I'm going to do is line up these pianos. Autopan and Cubase is the jam. I agree. Yeah, comes in handy. iLock is not the jam. I've been having real trouble with my sound toys and iLock for some reason. Each day a different one doesn't work. I don't know why. We'll figure it out. We'll figure it out. Okay. I haven't even used a tempo map today. We've just been messing around. I kind of want to line these up. We have like kind of a big one there as we start our vocal section. Okay, cool. That's sounding pretty good, I think. Nice, Chef. Just line that up, make sure it works. So we're gonna... maybe somewhere there. Yeah, that'll do. Maybe we'll just fade this out over a longer period of time then. Do one more of these, I think. Okay, let's have a little listen and appraisal to the whole thing so far. I think it's coming along pretty well. It's like a kind of underscorey kind of doom style thing. Yeah, cool. Okay, I'm just going to try... I feel like we need a moving element here, almost like a string tremolo or something, just right the way through. That's just going to glue everything together. We might have something inside of Constrictor. Maybe. Don't want it to be too... Yeah, that could work. Or even up here, maybe. Yeah, that kind of works. That kind of works, I think. We'll have to bring them off a bit sooner. We're definitely going to want to bring those cowbells down as well. They just need to be kind of really just swirling away in the background there. And then we'll add some more layers to sort of make them less the focus. We've got some other metals and scrapes and stuff we can probably bring in at some point. But I think that's just helping that constant sort of string tremolo. It's just helping add some movement and a consistency. What I'm going to do as well is I'm just going to be lazy. Just add something like, what is it even called again? Having one of those days, I can't remember what it's called. Ah, that's right. We're just going to filter it. We'll filter it, and that'll push it back in the room a little bit. We don't want to filter it too much and get rid of everything, but see, we're losing all that fizz at the top. Just want it sort of simmering in that kind of upper mid-range. Nice, and I'm really just thinking that we're just going to want to keep this low vocals going. Same thing here. I'm just going to use some Simply Q to sort of push these back a little bit. I want everything to sound, again, because it's sound design, you know, inspired. We don't need everything to sound realistic. We just kind of want it to sound interesting. So maybe something like that. You don't lose too much. Cool. Okay. I've got this idea. Remember this being in the soundtrack. I'm going to try and do something here. Really simple, but make our own little synth that we can use here. So something that does, let's get us free synth like Vital. It doesn't have to be anything special. First thing we're going to do, set up what we want the synth to do, which is one voice. Something like this. Yeah, let's get some distortion on here. Sounds cool. Let's use some, we won't use any reverb in here. Let's use some compression, but not the whole mix. Chorus. Something like that. So for anybody that's watching, I'm really making a mess of my, there it is, template today. Just created this really simple, it's got 9 voices of unison, some detune to give it, with the one voice it just sounds quite thin. There we go. And then we can use the detune to really get this kind of nasty. Something like that. And then let's go put quadrifuzz on this. Let's see if this adds or not. Probably not the full mix. Let's try something even more crazy here. That's kind of cool. And then we're going to finally need some kind of reverb. Let's just try black hole. Not going to worry too much. Yeah, that's kind of cool. It's almost like these like trailer style effects that pop up from time to time. We could even go. I think that's cool. Yeah, that's quite nice. It's a whole new cue with just that sound. Yeah, and we're sort of taking that approach of like sometimes you do through trailers where you're just looking for one sound. You know, the trailer itself might be simple, but you're looking for just one sound where you know people will hear that sound and go, ooh, what was that? You know, and we're kind of doing that with this here. Like it's an ambient track in a way, but we're maybe looking for a sound, something that will just anchor it. So yeah, something like this works. And this is just a free synth. We've used either cheap effects like Black Hole, which is actually on sale at the moment, I think, and Quadrifuzz, which is a stock Cubase thing, but we created this kind of cool thing. Really cool, right? I can always share this patch in our Discord if you've got Vital. But I mean, it's a super simple patch. You know, it's nothing nothing that anybody else can make really easily. Yeah. There we go. I think that we're getting there now. We just want it to be nasty, you know. So let's just see if there's places that we can put this. Yeah, nice. So, yeah, what we're going to want to do here is up that reverb, and I think even maybe filter just the very top sort of. We want to get just not that super fizz, because almost all of it, but not that maybe. When did we get that? Okay, so maybe we're going to want to bring, when it comes, that soft brown. No problems, Nicholas. I'd be happy to share anything like that. As I say, Vital's a free synth. You can get it today. And any of the effects I've used, just use any reverb you like, you know, any distortion you like. Where did we put it? There. I really need to organize this template today. Let's just pop this in our synths. And I'll just call it Vital, let's call it vital lead because it is a kind of lead sound. And yeah, I love these kind of monophonic glides. It's gone for ages for this kind of stuff. It might even work. Yeah, I think when we get to like the end of that choir section, we can do something there. Maybe we'll figure it out. But yeah. Okay. So what am I trying to do here? Let's. Something like that. Cool. And I might want to compress this down a little bit as well, so that we're not getting it too. Yeah, something like that might work. Let's get a little bit more ratio. Just quiet in the background. What are those bends? So this is just our Vital synth, and I'll show you how I've set it up. This is a free synth. There it is. So the bends are coming from the fact that I've got one voice, which means it's not, if I had three voices, I could play chords and all that kind of stuff. I've got one voice and I've got this glide on. So glide is literally how long it takes to glide from one note to another. With no glide, well, we're on 240 here. But with a lot of glide, that's probably a bit too long to wait. But where we had it, which is around that 240 mark. You could do all kind of cool stuff. Yeah, and this is like one oscillator. Let's just try two oscillators. No, I don't think it's adding anything. But yeah, I think we've literally used just the oscillator, the initialized oscillator. A couple of effects, some distortion and things, some compression, some chorus, give it a bit of thickness and whatever. And then I'm just playing. You guys can't really see, but I'm literally just playing these notes you can see at the bottom here. And I've heard this kind of thing cropping up in that Doom soundtrack a few times. So now we're just going to try and fit it in somewhere where we think it's going to work. Oh, 1 second. Let me make sure I'm recording to the right track here. And I'm already hearing that maybe you want to bring those in later, these syllables. Let's really grit this up though. This is still a bit... Something like that, I think so. Nice. Then we want them there, I think. And then bring that in at the end of that. We'll work on that out as we go. Yeah, I think that's kind of coming together now. So we're going to, it's a bit messy and a bit unarranged, but we can kind of work for the next 45 minutes on that, figure this out now. So. A nice ambient intro. Keep all this stuff going a little bit longer. And then maybe we'll do that into the thing. Something like that. This is mostly just about coming up with some cool sounds, and so yeah, it's kind of coming together quite nicely. And I'm going to probably just bring that down a little bit in volume. And we're going to add some risers and things here and there to sort of smooth everything out together. You know, there's really just almost been like a sound design exercise today of just like throwing stuff up together quickly, seeing what you like, and then kind of arranging it into something more coherent as we go. So let's go back here. Make sure that one comes in. On that last note there, I think is where we'd start everything. We kind of want it to finish quite quick there, I think. So where's my pitch bend? So move all this back a bit. So there. Even sort of finish there, and then just do a nice smooth pitch bend there. I think kind of got a good transition there with some other elements. Maybe let's even try that lower down. No, I think higher up, otherwise we lose the pitch bend. Cool. Okay, I think that's going to kind of work with a bit of finessing. So what I think I'm going to do here now is this. Come up to my brass. Let's just find Talos low brass. And let's punctuate each of those sort of synth things with a low brass marcato. That's just going to give everything a really brutal kind of stab. So if we go back here, I can copy this, Control C, bring it up here. There it goes. And I'm just going to want the low notes here. So I'll just mute the rest of these. There we go. And then I'm just going to turn this into probably a long marcato. Let's have a little listen to that on its own first. Cool. Again, we're probably going to want some distortion on this. Why not? We don't and everything else. No problem, Nicholas. And yes, I'll try and put that preset on Vital, preset on Discord even, or a how-to if I can't get it on there. And yeah, you're welcome to check it out if you're on there. Thanks again for joining us. So what have we got going on here? Yeah, we want everything to be max here. Right up there. Cool. Let's just maybe pop these in alongside something like, oh, let's try maybe like an array. Yeah, maybe here we go array. Same thing. We're gonna go like long Mercato. There we go. Let's have a listen to that. Yeah, nice. And then we can make them an octave lower. Cool. And they're just going to sort of give us these low stabs. Nice. Okay. What I will want to do is just grab that Talos low brass and definitely give it some reverb. Maybe around -8. And a bit of hall as well, maybe around -14. That should just give us a bit more stab on those. Let's try instead actually maybe just making these sustained. I think that works better. Yeah, I think this is kind of... Cool. Okay. Okay, so then let's start looking through this piece by piece and see sort of what we need to add and do to make each of these sections kind of work now. Got lots of ideas, but it's a little bit messy. We can tidy some of this stuff up as we go now. Okay. First thing I think I'm going to want to do is go to Cerberus, our Jaeger Grand Casa. What have we got here for the Jaeger Grand Casa? So what I think I'm going to want are these crescendo rolls. So if I bring these, yeah. Nice, maybe the 2 seconds instead. Very cool. Tiny bit of reverb on these just to put them in a hall, you know, give them a sense of space. Yeah, nice. So what I'm going to do, I think, is use these. Maybe down. Nice. I'm going to do the same thing that I've been doing through most of this. Decapitator. Raise the drive, lower the tone, push them back in the room a bit. See how we get a bit more like violence in them then. They don't sound like they're as close. Nice. And I think I'm just going to use these here and there alongside what else we've got going on. So let's just try and put these in a few places. Cool. What I need to do is take some of these ones in the middle, bring them back a bit. We can fix that as we go, but that's just giving us some sort of transition points here. I'm going to emphasize these even more, that kind of, yeah, that's going to be fine. We can't really have too much distortion going on here. Let's just finesse all of these. So right there. Thank you very much. Yeah, it's come together, I think. Around there. Okay, now I think I want to just bring up the aggression of this. Do you know what? I'm thinking of even just maybe using good old-fashioned array. Just, oh, if I can actually, oh, might help if I'm not in mute. Oh yeah, I know what I'm doing here. Ignore me. I've got my, I think that might sound better. So I might just grab this, take that out of there. Yeah. Make this all a bit more aggressive. We can always turn it down in volume. Don't even know if we need this one. Cool. What I'm going to do here is just start cleaning some of this up. Some of that goodness up there. Now, I think okay, and maybe just bring this drone back in. No, I think we have something different there. But this is starting to come together. What have we got? About a half hour left. So we're just going to be carrying on fixing this up. If you've just joined us, thank you very much for joining. If you haven't subscribed, make sure you do. We do this every week. We're just choosing different projects, different films, video games, whatever. Just having a little look at, maybe doing something in the style of those things. And then maybe we'll look at different, techniques for different things as well at some point. Every week, we're just coming up with different ideas for streams. So if you guys have any ideas, let us know either in the comments here or in our Discord. We're always really down for hearing what you guys would like to see more of, because we kind of want to make these not necessarily educational, but, just sort of show you some tips and tricks and some things that we might do, and also hear what you guys would do, because sometimes you guys come up with incredible ideas and totally, make us think about how we could do things differently or just help us compose these pieces. So yeah, it's really good fun just to do these with you once a week. Okay, let's have a little look at where we're at. Okay, cool. Sort of coming together. I can see how this is all going to kind of work together now. Might not have time to completely finish and sort of mix it all today, but I think we're going to get something that's mostly working. I'm hearing like we could do some sound design element here. I'm hearing almost something like a... So... That's not a good start, is it? Doesn't sound great, but I'll show you what I'm thinking. Bring this up first off. Maybe like... Next thing to do, let's try black hole. We're being... Yep, that could work. Already sounding kind of more interesting. Pretty much everything today has just been black hole distortion. So that's the Nucleus marimba. Before. Bit like Disney's Lion King. Afterwards, the Unholy Gates of Hell in 2 plugins. That's what I love about Nucleus. But that could work. I may just use a tiny filter or something here just to get rid of some of that real high end. We want most of it, but yeah, something like that maybe. So let's just see if this works. We'll figure out something to do at the end there, but that's right for now. Did we record that? I can't remember. We did. Yep, I think that's kind of adding something. Let's just go back a little bit and see. Yeah, so we've got... This is cool. I feel like we need something Cool, that could work. Because we haven't done this a tempo map, this may be an issue. We'll figure it out. So let's just get this in here. Maybe when this starts, and we're just going to see if we can get it sort of roughly fit. It doesn't have to be completely perfect. We could always go back in and re-tempo map this. It's actually quite easy to do in Cubase. Maybe we will do that in a minute. Let's just go. So we're going to want to go maybe more like here. Yeah, okay, let's try that. I don't want all that high stuff. There we go. Cool. Yeah, I'm hearing something like that. That's just a bend from Talos. Let's just use it. Yeah, that's cool. I like that. We'll need some reverb in there just to give it, you know, sort of just dying a bit quick. Bit of reverb just to bed it in with everything else. Something like that. Cool. I'm hearing something like this, maybe. Again, drenched in reverb. Maybe like a -4. Alongside, so these female vocals, let's just get these, copy and paste these into the tubular bells, and then just take sort of the melody line. It's not really a melody, but you know, the kind of top line here. So all of this can go. It's going to be, yeah. Nice. Straighten out these velocities a bit. I can just pull all these close together like this. Bring that up a bit. Cool. Yeah, make them a bit louder even. So how does that sound? That's cool. Straight with it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to copy this up. Going to have a look at this. So I'm thinking that might work better, you know, but not as distorted. So lower velocity. I kind of like that. Now, one thing we do need going on here is some other kind of drone or pad throughout the section. I mean, that could work. I think that might be a little bit... That might be the one, you know? Let's just try this. Yeah, I think that kind of worked. Cool. Okay, let me just try getting some hits in here now. It's key points. Just find the hits that we like. See, that one could be cool. Just record it out. It's got that kind of vocal quality almost that I think is going to go with the rest of it. And again, we're probably just going to distort the hell out of this, no pun intended. I like to kind of export hits because then we can just sort of see what we're doing with them, line them up on our non-existent grid, because I haven't bothered with the tempo map today. Although sometimes I like to work that way because it's like, you know, sometimes you don't want to work with the tempo map, or you want to retempo map after, remap afterwards. Or if you're not, you know, you're a composer that maybe not used to work with the tempo map, sometimes it's nice just to remind ourselves we can still do it this way. You know, I mean, years ago, you would have just been kind of layering stuff up like this without a click track, potentially. So we're just kind of doing the same thing. Sometimes it's good just to have fun, right? It's like we could always reorganize this afterwards. If we like this track and we want to turn it into a real proper track, we could reorganize this afterwards. But that's not really the point of today. The point of today is just going for this kind of mood feel that we were looking for, get some sounds that work. So let's see, is this going to be too intense here? Maybe, maybe not. Let's see. And then we get a little fade in there. Make sure we're not going to get any clicks. No, I think that works. So somewhere around there that we want the next hit. We're probably going to put some further back as well. And then we'll probably put some metals in there as well, some piatti or cymbals or something, just to give it a little bit of upper end sustain. Maybe a little bit later. Yeah, that could work. We can get a cymbal roll in there. Let's go back a bit further. Nice. Do we have maybe another hit that we can layer this up with, more of a kind of, hear that kind of crack? You know, we want something more, that's a bit too basic. That one. I think that one, I think that could work. This is layering hits, and when you're layering hits, generally speaking, you want each hit to be doing something different. You don't just want to layer a bunch of similar sounding hits in the same frequency range. I'm looking for something that has more of that kind of cracky, slightly snarey kind of sound, but not literally a snare. But I'll show you what I mean now when we layer this in. So this is just a hit, it's not a whoosh, it's just the actual transient. So it's going to come pretty much here. We can just line these up, make sure that we've got these pretty much in exactly the same time. Mix these in a bit. No, that's definitely going to be back there. Nice. So if you see, they sort of sound like one hit now. You know, you wouldn't notice there was two. What's happening is if we take that top one off, see how we just get more of a bass here, like a doom, you know. What we're missing is the sound of the rattle and the... Nice, now it sounds without, with, and then in the context of the mix, that's going to make it sound a bit more full, I think. And then we're going to want another one there, I think. Move them together. A bit earlier than that. That'll do. It's going to be more like there. Back a little bit. That'll do. We just want to maybe lower. The bassiness of them down. Bring that down in the mix a bit. Maybe just one more there. Make sure they line up. Almost. There we go. Nice. So I'm just going to remove some of the bass, this one, and emphasize the highs a tiny bit more. I'm also going to use this exciter here to really get some... Yeah, nice. Maybe just finally compressor just to give us a bit more of a tail. So we're going to want a long release there. Nice. Okay. And then just a tiny bit of reverb just so they don't sound quite so dry. We use a hole here so we're not getting too much through on black hole. See, we just get a little bit of room in there. And that should sort of make them sound relatively in the mix. We could probably tidy them up a bit, but we'll do that another day maybe. Nice. Okay, let's get some metals in there, and I think we can sort of start to almost finish this one up, just as a basic idea. So let's have a little listen. Do we want piano and tam-tams, maybe? I think we just got tam-tam rolls. Cool, that's easy enough. Let's get this, record this out, and then we can just, again, we can add these in as we need then. So that's what we want there. That's easy enough to do. C-2. So there it is. Leave that go a bit longer. Export that out, and then we've got a nice metal element as well. So what have we got here? Again, put some reverb on this, maybe a little bit more, because we can afford to be a bit more judicious with our reverb here. Let's just sort of line these up so they're hitting the right transients here. Cool, yeah, that's kind of working. We'll make them a little bit smoother there. Okay, same thing. We're going to want to go here. Hit that there. So we want that there. Nice. We can really be a bit more judicious with that reverb, I think. Same thing here. Same thing here again. And pop one there as well. Now I'm just going to do a quick mix on these three elements together. Cool. Just going to clean the low end up a little bit on that one. Don't worry too much about the mix for now. Okay, let's see what we've got, and we're going to be calling this a day in the next 10 minutes, I think. But, you know, we've got something that's kind of working. Got a good couple of minutes of underscore, or at least some good ideas for it. I definitely, if I was doing this professionally, you know, on a click track and tidy it all up and make sure it all synced together. But sometimes I just like these brainstorming, see where you get kind of sessions. And for 2 hours work, we've got quite a lot of cool sounds. Now, we've got another 10, 15 minutes, I think. So I'm going to try something here, right? We haven't really got any guitars in this, proper guitars. And Doom is just full of guitars. I've got trailer guitars here, the clean version. We got distorted as well. What I may do is use the clean version and just amp this up. I'm going to use this amp I've got here. You can use anything. There's stock amps that do a pretty good job these days. I kind of like this one. Let's just find something that we think is going to work. Maybe if we got something more... That might be a bit too indistinct. Let's see, what have we got? What have we got? Chug. Possibly that could be the one. Let's just try. No, I think we were doing well with. That's not enough. It needs to be brutal. Modern Misery. Yeah, that could be the one. It's going to be quiet. What this is going to do is add, number one, a layer that sounds more metal-like. Number two, just something that really fills... Yeah, stuff out. I think this is going to work. So I'm going to try and play this in and clean it up as we go. Leave it going. We're going to leave it there for now. Yeah, that's kind of working, I think. Do you know, in an ideal world, I'd even want it like a proper chuggy. I don't think this is going to work, but let's just try it. Let's go down a semitone. An octave, sorry. You know what? It might work. It might work. We take it some of that crazy scoop it a bit like a guitar. You know what? I think that could work. Let's try it. Yeah, you know, that's come together okay, I think. It would definitely need a bit more finessing and stuff, but we got some cool sounds in there. You know, we got something that I think kind of sounds Doom-like. You know, we definitely got some of the Doom elements in there. It's a great soundtrack if you haven't checked it, this new Doom, the Dark Ages soundtrack. This is kind of in that ballpark. You know, it's obviously not exactly the same, but that was never really the intent. It's just getting the feel and some of those ideas. I'm just going to do a really quick, not even a mix, just kind of like a quick mastery sort of clean up on here. Just get that vital going to the right area, vital lead. Let's just get it going straight to our synths. There we go. So that should now. And then we can just do kind of like a really quick, not even a master, we'll use a preset and we'll just sort of get it sounding a little bit hyped up. So what should we look for here? Let's take a look for depth and clarity, control mud. Let's just try that one. Yeah, let's have a listen to the whole thing. This is by no means completely finished, but we sort of got most of the elements in that I would have put in if I was doing this. And we'd certainly got enough good brainstorming ideas to turn this into a decent track with a couple more hours, I think, if we really wanted to. So here we go from the beginning. yeah, that's pretty cool, I think. We definitely need some cleaning up with the tempos, and we could make the hits a little bit more precise and clean them out as well. But that's all for another time. I think we got the vibe right is the main thing. And we definitely used some cool stuff from Talos and Cerberus and trailer guitars that I don't normally use, which is always good fun when I can just dig into these libraries and discover all the stuff that's there. So yeah, a lot of this is just built on these kind of beds of textures, and then we just added our little bits here and there to customize it and make it sound a bit more unique. So let's head back to just chatting. We will wrap up today, and yeah, then we shall say goodbye. Cool. Yeah. So thank you so much, guys. This was really good fun today. I like it when you can just do these, sometimes we do more orchestral stuff where you have to think a bit more in terms of, structure and orchestration and stuff. Sometimes I think it's great fun just to write music for music's sake, have no plan, no click track, no real goal other than just vibe and enjoying the sounds and just putting them together until something starts to come together. And I think that's what we did here today. We just had a really good time just layering stuff up, starting to get something that sounded good. Like I said, it would definitely need more work and refinement, but refinement and stuff is easy once you've got some kind of vibe going. And I think we pretty much got there today. We got something going vibe wise, and we did a little bit of a kind of Doom, the Dark Ages style thing. Got some cool sound design stuff in there, layered up some hits, got some guitars in there, mangled up some marimbas. We managed to get a cowbell in there as well, which was the goal from early on, thanks to a suggestion. So we got a cowbell in there as well, which is definitely not sounding like a normal cowbell, but hey, nothing in this sounds normal. Yeah, I think we did a pretty good job with a couple of hours just putting together something that was kind of in the right ballpark with the vibe. And thank you for all your suggestions. Had some good suggestions about different bass ideas and synth ideas and stuff. As I said, I'll make this sound available inside of Discord, this really simple one. Yeah, we put that together with free synth and a couple of plugins. So I'll either give a tutorial that I'll put in the Discord exclusively, or I'll try and put the preset if I can in there. But either way, stuff like that's pretty easy to make, and you can just make these little signature sounds and things that give tracks a bit of life and identity. And they're great layering with sample libraries. Sometimes just to use all the incredible sound design in the sample libraries and then just add a little bit more, or give yourself a little bit more customization options, which is always good. So yeah. Thank you so much for joining me, guys. This was really good fun today. I hope you've learned some cool stuff. Thank you for everybody that was in the chat giving ideas, suggestions, questions. We always appreciate that. And yeah, if you have any more questions or suggestions or ideas, head over to our Discord. We're always on there, and we're looking at everything that people are posting and trying to keep in touch with you guys as much as possible. So thank you so much for this today, guys. It was really good fun. We will be back next Tuesday. I'm not 100% sure what we're going to be doing, but whatever we do, I think it's going to be fun, and we like to mix it up. And if you guys have any suggestions, let us know. So all that remains me to say is thank you very much for everyone that joined me. Hope you have a great day wherever you are, whatever you're doing, whatever time of day it is. Good evening to you guys in the same time zone as me. Good morning to you guys on the I can't remember the right directions now. The west coast of the US is what I was going to say. And good afternoon to wherever anybody else is. So yeah, thank you guys. I shall see you next Tuesday. Until then,